Good morning, everybody. James Fernandez here. I'm here with my buddy Gus Parera from Gp.Overland, and today we want to talk to you a little bit about overlanding and do a little intro for our part 3 of our Florida Adventure Trail series. So,
what are we calling it?
Our fat journey.
Fat journey?
Our fat journey.
I resemble that comment.
So do I. I think it's you know, it's a little comical and fitting at the same time, you know.
If I was thinking, you know, like the Panhandle Adventure, well, fat journey it is then.
Our fat journey, yeah. And soon we'll be on the We're So Fat journey. All right, so let's just get into this. I have a couple questions I'm going to ask Gus. So those of you that haven't been following his channel, go to his channels, Gp.Overland. Gus goes on quite a few adventures throughout the year, and not just here in Florida, all over the US. I mean, he's been on the Trans-America Trail, was the latest big one that he did. Yeah. He's planning a trip to the Arctic. That's gonna be cool. I'm hoping I can get my shit together and join him on that one. And we'll let him talk a little bit about that. So let's get into it. I got a couple questions here for you, Gus.
Okay.
About overlanding and your journey. First question I have here, it's what originally got you into overlanding and how has the journey evolved over the last few years?
Camping. Started camping and hunting, or camping to go hunting. And just kind of evolved. Then products started coming out from Australia, where people were driving, camping, and then driving some more and camping some more, which we used to call car camping back in the day.
Yeah.
But the overlanding term comes from Australia and it's stuck here, so that's kind of how I got started, just camping and
yeah, I think that's, for most of us, that's kind of how it got started too. I mean, I remember as a young lad, I used to do a lot of camping with my friend and his family. They had a big property in Arcadia, and they used to take me out there, and we used to go hunting and camping. That's really what exposed me as a young man to this outdoor lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And as you get older, your pockets get bigger, and you're able to buy, you know, nicer equipment, and you start experimenting with, you know, ATVs, and you know that gradually turned into vehicles and rooftop tents and stuff like that. But I do want to say, you don't need all this fancy equipment to get started.
Yeah, I started with a pup tent and my mom's pot. And it was right back here off of Chrome Avenue in the Everglades, and it was wet and miserable, but as a 16, 17-year-old, it's just fun.
It was a blast. It was a blast. I love it. All right, so what are the biggest lessons Overland has taught you about travel and self-sufficiency?
Travel and self-sufficiency. Well, if you have everything you need, you don't need to spend any money as far as food, accommodations, and stuff like that. So you could take a long trip and just spend money on fuel and food. And if you buy at little supermarkets and stuff like that, you really won't spend that much at all. The best thing is to just get out there and camp and explore the United States. The United States is huge,
yeah,
and it's so different. You know, you have oceans, you have deserts, you have mountains, you have forests. It's just amazingly beautiful, and you just need to get out there and explore it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's now, you know, now the new term is ecotourism, right? But it's true. Everybody talks about taking a vacation and they want to go, hey, let's go to the Bahamas, or let's go let's go to some foreign country. Well, we got so many beautiful things here that many of us have lived here all our lives, haven't even scratched the surface of exploring. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. All right, and let's go one more question from your Overland Experience Journey section here. What advice would you give someone looking to get into overlanding and just doesn't know where to start?
You don't need a whole lot of equipment to go overlanding per se. There are trails that are just, you know, dirt roads, there are mountain roads, forest roads. You really don't need a very expensive vehicle. Although it helps to have four-wheel drive, and you know, you can go out in a station wagon, or I'm sorry, SUV, and
He's
and
dating
just
himself there.
explore. Yeah. You know, you put down the back seat and throw a inflatable mattress or a comforter in the back, and you can sleep back there. Take a cooler with stuff and just explore the areas near you. And if you like it, then you can start it. Getting better gear, getting better stuff, but you don't need a lot of stuff. A $50 tent from Walmart will work as well.
A point just to kind of piggyback on that. You don't need all these fancy refrigerators and take a month worth of meat and food. I mean, there's so many local mom and pop little general stores or supermarkets along the way. I mean, overlanding is not just off-roading. Yes, off-roading is a big part of it, but you're also experiencing the lesser known or lesser traveled communities throughout the US. And there's a lot of local businesses along these routes that you could pick up supplies. So you don't need to, go crazy and buying all these expensive fridges. Is it nice to have? Absolutely. But if you're gonna wait to get all that stuff to get started, you're never gonna get started. Just do it. Get out there, do it, and get supplies along the way as needed. You're gonna experience things, and you're gonna see, maybe I should have done this a little different. Well, for the next spot, tweak it, pivot. You gotta be flexible. And the most important thing is just get out there and get started. All right?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Florida Adventure Trail, which is what this series is all about. Just a little bit of background. Gus and I met at a local radio club. You may hear the radio blasting in the background there. Here in Miami, called South Day GMRS. We quickly learned that he was into the overlanding, and I was kind of getting started. I used to do a lot of camping and hunting and off-roading in my younger years. As I got older, my career grew, my businesses grew. I kind of steered away from that. And now that I'm in my 50s, I said, you know what? I need to slow down, and I need to get back to what I loved, and that was just being out in nature. So I bought a budget LR3 that you see back there, started putting it together little by little, and just started getting out there. We quickly met, and I came across on YouTube this Florida Adventure Trail thing, and I just thought it was awesome. At one of the club meetings, I believe, I talked to you about it. You were telling me about your trip to, I think that year you had gone to...
the Georgia Traverse or something.
The Georgia Traverse, yeah. And I started seeing all these videos from John Burkmeyer and Asia Sampson and Brad DeRuse on the whole Florida Adventure Trail thing. Sunshine State Viking was a bunch of videos that I saw. And I was like, yes, this is something that I need to do.
And I can do, right?
And I can do, right, exactly.
It's not that hard. It's just fun. Just get the time off and go.
Yeah. So funny story, and if you watched one of my videos prior, I think it was the first video, part one, which is Osceola, Florida Adventure Trail, Osceola to Ocala. There's a comment in there when Gus got stuck that I made, which was actually true. It happened. When we started talking about this, I was like, hey man, what do you think about this Florida Adventure Trail? And what did you say, Gus?
Yeah, I'm not doing any trails in Florida until I have a winch.
Until we have a winch. And there's some legitimacy to that statement, right? And we experienced that on that first trip. So with that, let's get into a little bit about Florida Adventure Trail. What was your initial impression of the Florida Adventure Trail when you first heard about it?
Well, honestly, I didn't think that we had such long, trails in Florida. I think it's always been like little pockets of things and stuff like that. But I think John Burkmeyer did a nice job of stitching them together and making a 1,100 foot, a mile trail. 1,200
miles.
Mile
the initial fat is
the initial fat, and it's pretty amazing actually. I think he did a great job of mapping it and finding places to camp, finding places to fuel up, to eat. We
like to eat.
All sorts of things. He did a great job, and I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, I was too. I was, when you first hear about overlanding, you automatically think off-roading. And yeah, there is off-roading in it. But I thought was very cool was some of these small towns that you drive through when you're going from like Ocala to, Osceola to Ocala. And you're going through all these little small towns and you see some beautiful properties out there, some farms.
And old houses and old businesses is like going back in time. As you see like old hardware stores that's been around, 100 years, and it's just pretty neat.
Yeah, it is, and it's like you're taking a history tour, right? To me, it's pretty amazing. And now he's released more trails, right? You got the SOFAT, which is the South Florida Adventure Trail, which we are right off of the SOFAT right now. It runs right through our backyard. In today's video, we're gonna film part of that. Now, the Miami-Dade section, I mean, I don't wanna get a little off topic here, but the Miami-Dade section is not Ocala, is not Osceola. It's an urban agricultural area is how I would describe it. We're gonna be going through farms, some paved, some dirt roads, but it's still neat to know when people think about Miami, they don't think about farming. They don't think about an agricultural community. They think about South Beach. They think about downtown Brickell nightclubs. So, there is another whole look or feel or, for lack of a better word, a whole, I'm lost for words now, a whole area to Miami that's not,
I mean, we're very fortunate to have the Everglades right next to us. I mean, we're at the beginning of the Everglades right here. So if you just to the west here is Big Cypress National Park, and we have Everglades National Park, and this is really a beautiful ecosystem that we have here. And the SOFAT kind of skirts around because there's really no way to traverse the Everglades unless you're on an airboat. So unless you have an airboat, you're not going out there. But we can skirt around it and see it from from the edges.
So that's a great intro to my next question was, how does the Florida Adventure Trail compare to other overlanding routes that you've explored in the past?
The Florida Adventure Trail has a lot of sugar sand, mud, and water. So you do need a little bit of off-roading gear to get through a lot of the
some of the sections.
Yeah, because
and it really is going to depend on the time of the year too, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you go during the summer wet season, and you could be in calf high, thigh high water, and that same area in the winter it's dry. So that's just varies that much here in Florida.
And we kind of experienced that. We went on our first trip was in October, and there were some sections that were still pretty wet. And then we went back now, when was it, in January? I don't have a brain fart. I think it was January, right? It was right after the first of the year. We went in January and everything was bone dry. I mean, the section where Gus had gotten stuck, I mean, you could walk it.
You keep bringing that up, bro. Why you keep bringing that up?
Okay, I'm sorry. You know what's gonna happen? That's bad karma on me. Watch, I'm probably gonna get stuck now on the next trip. So anyways, we'll get past that.
That's okay.
It's water.
Gus always tries to go through the difficult parts. Not always the smallest, not always the smartest thing, but sometimes a lot of fun.
Well, it's the funnest thing, right? Right? All right. Moving right along here. We're almost done here, folks, I promise. And I hope you're getting some good information here from a very experienced overlander. And okay, so let's talk about the overland lifestyle. How has overlanding influenced your perspective on travel, nature, and adventure?
Well, you definitely don't look at cities anymore. You look at the areas around the cities, the mountains, the rivers. What waterfalls can I find? What mountain ranges I can find? What things that I haven't seen that I can explore and experience can I find? And that's part of it. The exploration part is the fun part. It's the camping is just kind of like the added bonus. People like to camp, some people don't like to camp. It's not really about the camping, it's about the exploring and seeing new places and meeting new people.
I like that.
And it's funny because I've been up in the Colorado mountains and I remember I was with my buddy Charlie, and we were up there, and when the guy sees our tags, he goes, You boys are long ways from the Florida Everglades, aren't you? So yeah, we struck up a conversation and we started talking.
So that's one of the amazing things that I found with doing this overland travel. The community of overlanders is really such a respectful community, not just to each other, but for the environment,
Yeah.
People think about off-roaders and, going out there mudding and tearing up trails. Overlanding is not that. Overland is experiencing that journey. And I think everybody that gets into this community, this lifestyle, really has a whole different perspective on life and travel and nature, and you meet some very, very interesting people from all walks of life. It's really, it's probably one of my favorite things too, is also meeting new people out there and hearing their story and how they got started and their experiences.
And compare rigs.
Oh, you have
this, I have that. That's kind of fun too.
Yeah. It's that's more the machismo part of it,
Well,
hey, my tires are bigger than yours,
One of the things I always try to do though is whenever I go into an area, I try to leave it better than when I arrive. So if there's somebody else left garbage, I'll pick up the garbage, I'll pick up the things, and we try to leave it better than we found it, because we need to protect nature for our future generations.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, we're going to see it today. Areas that were all farmlands, they're now building houses on it, and I think in one of the last videos that John Berkmeyer did while he was doing the proofing run of the SOFAT, there was a section that was all citrus farms, and now there's a housing development. So it's something that it's kind of bittersweet for me, because I'm in a business that I make money off of developing. I'm not a developer. I have a media production company, full disclosure, and we do a lot of real estate media. That's one of the biggest aspects of my company's business. So for me, it's kind of bittersweet, because I make money off of that, but it also is taking away from what I love, and nature, and being out here and being able to photograph alligators and birds and doing all these things, and just disconnecting from the craziness of the city and coming out here and breathing some fresh air, seeing some stars at night. I mean, it's just it's kind of an internal battle, I guess, I have, So that the only way for me to suppress that is for you guys to like, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me. If I can grow this channel, maybe I could focus on
retire from the
exactly.
Urbanization.
Yeah. And that goes to say for Gus also, Gp.Overland. He has some great travel videos on there. You guys will really, really enjoy it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Again, it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us. Gus is retiring soon from the fire department, so he's going to need a little extra boost of income to that. All right, guys, let's take one more question and we'll wrap this up. It's probably a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but all right, final thoughts and advice for those looking to embark on their own overland adventure, Mr. Gus.
Get started.
Just do it.
Just jump in there. You don't need a lot of gear. You just need to find a way to get out and explore, because everything else falls into place. You'll go getting this stuff little by little. You don't need to invest a lot of money up front. Just get started.
Yep. Words from a wise man. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little interview. I'm going to do a couple more of these interviews with other overlanders and people in this community and lifestyle. I hope you get some valuable information from it. And at the end of the day, it's just time to do the do. Get out there, get off the couch, and go experience nature, even if it's in your local area.